but I sent my first batch on the 16th of March, and by the 19th of March, I had already made a sale.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I have with me a special guest, Nicole, who is a member of Kickstart and has come to share with us today her story because she joined the program a little while ago and has been putting everything into action, doing everything that needs to be done, and getting some fantastic early results. So, Nicole, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and what you've done so far in your reselling business.
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, again, my name's Nicole, and I live in the US. I live in a suburb just outside of Chicago. And so I started this Amazon business because I wanted to leave the 9 to 5 job. And initially, it was going to be a slow transition, not super slow, but just a transition of, okay, I'm going to take a few months, get some of this under my belt a little bit, and then I'll give notice to the full-time job. Circumstances would just have it be at the beginning of the year that they were looking to restructure my position at work. And so it'd basically be like starting from scratch with a new position. And I kind of just thought, I don't want to do that. And I don't think I'm doing them any favors or myself any favors taking that new role on just for a few months, only to then leave the company, and when they could have gotten going with somebody else. So I kind of just took a leap of faith and I gave my notice, and I had just signed up for Kickstart in January, and I left my full-time job that I'd had for 9 years, a nice comfortable paycheck, and left that in February. I hadn't sent anything in yet for my Amazon FBA. In fact, I had gotten my LLC already, so that had been done. I had gotten my business checking account, and I had gotten my business credit card. But other than that, I was just like starting to watch the videos. I hadn't looked at any products yet or ordered anything. So it all just kind of happened. I thankfully did have a little bit of capital to work with, as well as some savings to leave my job. So I know that's not everyone's situation, that they can't just, up and leave their job right out the gate. I'm sure lots of people want to. I know I was itching to. I just thought it would probably be at least like, I don't know, somewhere between 3 to 6 months into starting to learn how to do this. But instead, it happened right away. So for me, that was just extra motivation to get things going, because while I do have some funds to rely on to pay my bills, I don't really want to wipe all of that out. Instead, I'd like to start generating, some profit here, which I know I need to figure out, what has to be put right back into the business. Obviously, ideally, if you could put 100% of what you're making with the sales, but I just hope that I can take a little piece of that sometime this year, so that, again, I'm not draining my savings over starting the business.
And that's it's incredible that all of it happened so close together. You starting the program, and then I don't know if you consider it an opportunity to leave your job. It sounds like it all happened for you at the right time, and being able to have something to focus your time and attentions on, which is amazing. So, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about what you've done in terms of sales. I know we talked a little bit about the number, how many products you bought, how many you've sold, and where you're at as of right now.
Yeah. So I kind of just got on a roll of finding different things. I also did decide to kick it up a notch, and I joined Catalyst. So I was like, I'm going to do this as well. I'm going to join Catalyst. We might as well do all the things. So I joined Catalyst. So that also gives me the advantage of having access to the deal vault and being able to see products that are being sourced by, your team. So that helped a lot because I didn't really know what I was doing, right? I have the BuyBot Pro tool, but also I just needed kind of some ideas, some inspiration, some things to look at, and then use some of the other sourcing, options from there, which I found that I was kind of naturally doing. Seeing a product, let's say, that's on the spreadsheet for Deal Vault, but then taking it beyond there and seeing, well, what other products could I look into from that same brand, or in that same category. And then when I would get to your videos about some of the other, sourcing options, I'm like, oh, wait, I'm doing that. So some things I kind of had figured out before seeing some of the videos. So for me personally, I don't know how some people are doing it. I didn't go through all 8 weeks and then start. I kind of just went along with your videos. So week one, what was in there? What can I take from here? Okay, let me sign up for BuyBot Pro. Let me make sure I have all the things set up for my Amazon seller account, all of that kind of thing. So I kind of just take one of the weeks at a time and then put that stuff into action. And that's kind of how it works for me. So I went down this rabbit hole of products, looking into all sorts of different things. And I landed on ordering 10 different SKUs. So I don't know that that was necessarily like on purpose. It just kind of happened. And then it kind of was just like a nice round number, like, okay, let me try 10 different things. It's kind of across the board. I took some notes for myself so I would remember everything from skincare, cosmetics, shoes, little collectibles, craft paper, vitamins. So I kind of went all over as far as categories. I didn't stick to one particular type. I actually am also a freelance makeup artist. So I would lean towards wanting to do things with skincare and makeup and but I know that it can't just be what you like personally. So knowing that you have to figure out what sells. And so, yeah, I just kind of went across the board on categories in the first batch that I ended up putting together.
That's amazing. And I love your approach of systematically going through the modules, implementing as you go, because two different types of people that go through a program. Some people just binge all the way through first off, Netflix style, watch everything all in one sitting and then kind of go back and implement after. And others like yourself would take it step by step and implement as you go. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, because while it's fresh in your mind, you just go ahead and do it. And I've seen you in the Facebook group giving updates where you're at, which again, we see people who do that are some of those having the greatest success, because ultimately you're holding yourself accountable, you're sharing and inspiring with other people. And anyone who might be at a point in their business where stuck at a challenge or there's a roadblock that they're struggling to get over, seeing other people sort of move past that is very inspiring. Also wonderful to hear that you're involved in all these different categories. Not many people get started in such a wide array of different categories early on. So well done for that as well. That's amazing.
Yeah, as of today, I have 24 different products that have been sent to Amazon. So
24 different separate products entirely. And what sorts of numbers of each of those products were you buying? What quantity of each of those have you bought?
The most units I've bought of anything is 10, and the least amount of units has been 3. So somewhere between 3 to 10, depending on what it was. Some of it is because that's all that you could order was 3, and other times, it was 5. Most of them cap out somewhere around 8 to 10 on the higher end, but I would say, the only reason I stuck to those numbers, which also I know in the program it was recommended to start with lower quantities, or you can always have lower quantities, because sometimes these prices do change on Amazon. I've seen that already with some of the products. Some of them have stayed steady, and then some you can see sellers are trying to chase pennies here. It's like every day I have to go in on this one product that somebody else that's selling it keeps dropping by like 2 cents. So I'm like, what are we doing here? Can't we just stay at one number? We'll both sell these items. So for some reason, they either have a tool, I'm assuming, that's doing it, or they really are trying to make sure that they're the ones selling and are in the buy box above everybody else. Yeah, I mean, I found that that's comfortable. And so several of the things I would say just off the top of my head, potentially about 5 of my products are sold out. One of them I have been able to reorder, send in as a replenishment. Another one that's really popular, can't even order anymore. It all just says coming soon on the website, so I can't order anymore. So I'm waiting for them to release more of their products, because that was a good one. And that was interesting because that was something I would have never looked into a category. It is these like collectible figurines, and they're actually a blind box. So the person who's purchasing it doesn't even know what they're receiving. They're buying it blind. But I guess that's the fun of it, is that they're buying something and it's a mystery box. So those actually were really popular. If I can get my hands on some more of that, That would be great. And then just getting, I did get ungated for Lego last week.
Excellent.
So that was one of the, bigger brands that I was after,
Mhm.
that I wanted to try to get ungated for. So I just did what I'm sure some people have seen others mention in our Facebook group, which is if you can find something inexpensive to purchase, you don't necessarily have to buy the item that you were intending to sell just yet, especially because you don't necessarily want to take that money and risk it if you're not going to get ungated right away and be able to turn around and send it into Amazon. So with Lego, I just found something in the sales section, something that was lower priced, and just ordered 10 units. In fact, I had to order 5 of one and 5 of another. And I think that's something I've seen people ask questions about. It doesn't have to be 10 of something, of one thing. It just needs to be a total of 10 units from that particular source on that invoice. You could do multiple invoices from what I've seen, but if you could just get it all in one purchase, that's what I did.
Excellent. Now, that's a great tip and something we've established in not very recently that we've discovered that that's something that we can actually do. So thanks for sharing that tip. You mentioned that so there was about 25 different products that you purchased. You said 5 have sold out so far. So roughly how much of everything that you originally purchased has sold out since you bought it, and what's the plan for you next? Where are you going next with it?
Yeah, so originally I spent my initial batch costs about 1250, $1,250. And I have sold to date, which is less than a month. So my first batch was sent on March 16th of this year. And I want to say it was received within 2 days. And then because some people may know you can start making sales before your items have actually been fully checked in. So
Mm.
that's what happened to me. And I wasn't sure because I know you could be waiting a month or two before you have a sale. Who knows? I mean, I kind of didn't have any expectations. I really didn't know how quickly it would go. But I sent my first batch on the 16th of March, and by the 19th of March, I had already made a sale. So
Mate,
within 3 days of sending, I'm not even sure if everything had been fully checked in yet. I know it wasn't showing as such on Seller Central, but that's when I made my first sale. So first sale 3 days later, and then since then I've sold 23 units of the 47 that I sent in, and for a total of 1370 in sales.
wow.
So
So you've already gotten more back in terms of sales revenue than what you spent within the first month of sending your first products in. That's
yeah, and I even already got my
amazing.
first payout. Yesterday, I got my first direct deposit. So, I mean, for me, this has really been a positive experience, because I think, we all have a little bit of fear.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have that like buyer's remorse, like, oh my gosh, I signed up for this program, I've invested money, and now I need to see this come back. And so I didn't know if it was going to be months from now that I would ever see, even a small portion of this. So it was definitely encouraging to start having sales. And then now here at, less than a month to have already in sales made more than what I spent on the initial batch. I've spent more since then just because I've sent other orders in, but just to know that, that's already been recouped in sales is a good feeling.
Amazing. And I know that you'd said you bought 47, so 23. So that means you've still got 24 of the original 47 to sell, and you've already gotten back more than you spent. So that's in sales at least. So that's very, very encouraging. It means everything from that point on technically should then be your profit. And by the sounds of it, you're taking back what you're selling from your cash and reinvesting it into more products and contributing more funds to it as well. I guess now that you've proven the concept for yourself, like you said, you've gotten your first sales, so you know it's something that's going to work for you going forward. So now it's a case of growing it up and scaling it, I suppose, right?
Yeah, what I kind of started doing next was, okay, I want to try to find products now that have a bigger return on investment. So I'm looking to purchase things that are maybe a little bit higher price point. I'm using the same numbers and statistics that I guess we started out with in the program,
Mhm.
where, at a minimum, I want to make at least a certain dollar amount per, profit per item. But obviously, if that's always going to be on the lower end, then I have to sell more. And so I wanted to start trying to find things that, let's say, for example, were a 10 plus dollar profit per item versus 5 or $2.50. I wanted to be able to make it happen faster. So looking for things that, were a little bit more expensive as well. So I did purchase my first, I would say, more expensive item recently, where it was the item itself was, well, on Amazon, it sells for around $170, wanting to find things like that. And so buying 5 units of that to see how that goes, and looking for things that are a little bit more profitable, higher revenue, is what I was trying to do. And so to me, that's where I trying to go to next. Is the first set of items were lower, as far as what the profit was going to be per item. So trying to bump that up, because seeing what I was able to do in less than a month, then that made me change my goal, because I didn't really know exactly how much I wanted to say, okay, in my first month, I'm going to make this much money. I didn't really have a goal per se, because I needed to see what would happen.
Yeah.
So now that this has happened, I changed my goal for myself, the first milestone, so to speak, that I would like to reach.
Excellent. And do you have a longer term goal for something that you're trying to achieve in, say, the next 6 or 12 months?
Yeah, I really I think it's possible, to hit the 10K a month. I'd like that, so that if by the end of this first year, if I could have had my first 10K month, that's my new goal.
Amazing. I love that. Well, you're certainly off to a fantastic start and well on your way to achieving that. So thank you very much for sharing. And I just want to ask you if there's one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's looking to start their own reselling business, what would it be? Putting you on the spot here a little bit. I'm sorry.
Just, I would say, just take a chance. Take a chance on yourself. Don't be your own worst enemy, by holding back. It is scary, especially when we're talking money that, we've worked hard to earn, assumingly, and that we have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. So even if you don't have the same types of funds, even if you have half of what I had to start with, or a third of what I had to start with, you have to start somewhere. So get going, watching the videos, and then putting things into action, and just get that first batch into Amazon. Because I'm proof that it is possible, to make sales right away. It might not happen for everybody exactly the same way, but I think if you,
In the future, that would be amazing.
yeah, absolutely, I'd love to do that.